Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank. Be sure to follow the Beyond Bitcoin tag on Steemit, as well as our Hangout host Official Fuzzy for the latest Whaletank updates. To participate in the discussion, simply find a weekly Whaletank RSVP post and RSVP with a topic or proposal in the comments. Voiceshares create synergy between Bitspark and Steem by rewarding developers and helpful community members. The Whaletank has already distributed over $70,000 in upvotes during its first month. You can also create and trade your own cryptographically secure whale tokens and get an automatic seat in the Whale Council. Voiceshares work for the chain based on votes by the community. If you're interested in becoming a founding member of the Whale Council, let us know by sending an email to beyondbitcoin@gmail.com with the subject Whale Council. Be on the lookout for our new forums coming soon.
Welcome everyone to another Whaletank Hangout. Today is Saturday, September 23rd, 2017. And we are joined, as we are every week, by a bunch of people who are interested in cryptocurrencies and how the blockchain technology and projects that are connected with it can empower humanity and how we can do really cool and disruptive things that make a lot of value for us. So with that said, we like to travel through with everybody else's journeys, and we like to open it up, as always, for anybody who's interested in bringing value to the space via cryptocurrency or tokenization to be able to do so and talk about whatever they want to talk about in this space. It's kind of turning everything on its head. So how we do this is we use steemit.com. You can RSVP there on our Whaletank Hangout that we post every week. And you can then go out and ask the people who you know to join Steem and upvote your content and to upvote your RSVP, because now with those people backing you, it helps you to get higher up in the rankings. It also helps to promote your content that is on the Whaletank Hangout thread, because by doing so, you're not only helping increase the value of the upvotes on the Whaletank thread itself, but you're also getting people within the ecosystem to know about your project and to upvote it so you can get paid and also help us establish the order in which we will cover these projects. Now, with that said, we have something that we allow people to essentially power up. Everybody starts out with 15 minutes, and you are able to essentially power up it by connecting up your own token. So if you have a token and it trades on the Bitshares DEX, or there's some way of it trading on the Bitshares DEX, like a UIA of some sort, or any of the tokens that it offers, if you provide that link, we will double the amount of your vote in terms of establishing the order of precedence. Now, with that said, we will also have a second power up. You have 15 minutes as stated. So we can actually let you join and go over that 15-minute period by utilizing tokens to give out to myself and the people who are joining these Hangouts. After that, there's one final power-up, but it's a kind of an interesting power-up. At the end of every Hangout, I will decide when this next RSVP thread posts out who will be the person who receives 1,000 Beyond Bits from me for their project. Beyond Bits currently trade at approximately 4 BTS each, and they are used also for upvotes on the Steemit platform, which is how they are recommended, because using them will actually get you seen by more people and potentially earn you way more than 4 Bitshares. So you are able to actually fund the project and to be noticed and helped and advertised on the Steemit platform, which is full of a bunch of crypto nerds and people who are starting to really understand the power of these ecosystems. So leverage what we have to join up, and also leverage what Bitshares has to create that Voltron type of synergy, because that's how we're trying to incentivize this. You can use these tokens and you can try to get the 1,000 Beyond Bits off of somebody if you feel like you have a better value proposition. So that is also a very key play. If you don't have them, you will never be able to receive the 1,000, but I do distribute tokens to everybody who joins up here. So if you guest speak, I appreciate you, and we will give you some tokens to promote your valuable project. Now, with that said, we have an order of precedents established today. First is going to be Bitspark, and they're going to be talking about their Zephyr token. After which is going to be Rite of Passion, and they're going to be talking about the Voiceshares token. Then we are going to have Nutella, and he's going to be talking about clinical trials on the blockchain, and I think there might be some discussion about that one, some good discussion. Followed by Chief Mapster with the Beat Battle and some updates with regards to that. Bethalia is going to be giving updates on Community Casino. It's good to see her back. So with that said, thank you everybody who's joined up to these Hangouts. And I'll go ahead and I will open it up for Bitspark if you want to step up and give an introduction to the community of crypto nerds who are joined up.
Hello, thank you very much, Fuzzy. And I guess we've got 15 minutes, and I just gave a brief intro in the Bitshares Hangout, but let's talk a little bit more about Zephyr and our token here today. So my name's George. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Bitspark. We're based in Hong Kong. We've been around for about 3 years, and back in 2014, we were the first to do a remittance transaction using Bitcoin as the means of transmission. So cash in, cash out, using Bitcoin to send money around the world. Since then, we've expanded to 7 countries, and we have about 15 to 20 money transfer shops signed up to our system. Predominantly, though, our home market is Hong Kong, and there's that's where we focus. But we're looking to go global, and essentially what we do as a company is we provide software for physical money transfer shops. So they are like your bricks and mortar Western Unions. These are the stores where people send money around the world. They have cash. Maybe they don't have a bank account, and this is how things happen. So they need software to convey money overseas, and essentially that's what we provide. But we use crypto as the means to do that instead of the banks. So we're about half the cost of everyone else, and we're looking to expand to new countries and new currencies through the use of BitShares, which we recently announced. But we've also just announced a token project called Zephyr, and that will be starting on the 6th of October for the public. You can see it at zephyr.bitspark.io, and I'll post a link in chat later on. But essentially, what we're trying to do with this UIE is this is a reward token for joining the Bitspark remittance network. So whenever you send a transaction, visit a money transfer shop, or whenever, say, the money transfer shop business signs up to Bitspark, we will reward them Zephyr. So we will essentially be paying them to do that, paying them to do them things that they already do for free. If they sign up to Western Union is not paying them to do that. So, this is what we think is an effective way to expand our network to more countries and more currencies around the world. So we're using the token Zephyr in order to do that. And what we're actually doing as well is a percentage of transaction fees for every successful transaction on the network will go towards buying back Zephyr from the DEX. So, as we issue more coins to more people do more transactions, and then that means more transactions that's buying Zephyr back from the DEX. So it supports the value of the UIA itself. It's not just something that someone would want to hold, but as our network want to sell, but as our network grows, the idea is so does the value of the token. So that's what we're trying to achieve with this, and we really think that this is a good way to incentivize people wherever they may be in the world. And yeah, that's a bit of a short intro. And I'd be happy to take any questions and sort of go from there.
My question that I had was, one of them rather, was how do you foresee making it so the value proposition for the Zephyr token seems to increase? Is it going to be like based off of a supply demand curve that you guys kind of have pre-established, and you're going to buy them and they're kind of burn them, and it's just going to continue going up in value based on a percentage of what you guys will buy them back based on a percentage? Or
yeah, so a bit of an explainer. When a money transfer shop does a transaction, we leave it up to them to set their fees, and it depends on the jurisdiction where they're at, and that will dictate the fees. So if you're in a very competitive place, maybe your fee is pretty low, but if you're not in a competitive place, then maybe you can afford to have a higher fee. But of course, as more people sign up and get on the same system, then you'll be forced to drop your fee. So let's give an example of, say, sending $250 to someone in another country. That's the standard around the world for remittances. And let's say the fee is perhaps 4% or 3%. In Hong Kong, our fee is 1%. But let's use another example. So a couple of percent is what your standard fee is going to be, and 25% of that fee will be used to buy back Zephyr. So that's if you're sending $250, almost a dollar or something like that will be used to buy back, Zephyr from the market. And that'll be happening continuously every time a transaction happens. So, the more transactions that happen, the more buybacks that will be. Our intention is that Bitspark itself will be the buyer in that market, and we will just be executing transactions as they come. So it's accountable in that people will be able to see what we're doing. They'll be able to see the transactions happening on the blockchain. They'll also be able to ensure that we are using every single dollar from those transactions to buy it back from the DEX as well, and be transparent about that. So the amount that we'll be buying from the DEX obviously depends on the fees of that particular transaction. But over time, the incentive is that we're constantly going to be buying as we have more and more transactions. And of course, why do we think there's going to be more transactions? Well, essentially, we're giving people tokens to sign up. So, they only get those tokens when they do a transaction. So yeah, that's how it's going to work.
Got a follow up to that. Forgive me if you said this and I missed it. So you buy them back from the transaction, and then what do you do with them?
I mean, at this stage, the company will be having them, on as a balance, as an asset. Now, the question is, what is Bitspark going to do with those tokens over time? Maybe we burn them. Maybe we keep them for, marketing purposes or something like that, spreading the network even more. That's a good conversation for the community, and something which I'm sort of thinking about as now. But yeah, the idea is that we will be purchasing them and we will be locking them away for some period of time. So yeah, at this stage, it's going to be dictated by the company. But it depends, what the community would be more comfortable with. We're happy to think about that.
How do you get involved in that decision-making process as a community?
Considered kind?
Well, I mean, come to our chat in Discord and let us know what you think about Zephyr or any other the aspects of it. So yeah, I mean, it is a UIA issued by us as a company. So we're just, our intent is that over time, we'll be the buyer, and maybe a percentage of the tokens will be used to pay, either more issuance at the end of the day, or issuing rewards or something like that. So maybe that would come from the balance of which we've already bought back. So that would be a good question to have.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I would like to discuss it a little bit, because there are a lot of potential value propositions that can be used, and I personally think something like buying it back with an increasing pool, and like just giving a percentage based on like a monthly amount that you're going to buy back, and letting it as let people wonder, are they going to go? I think that they're going to go up in price, so I won't sell them. So so you create that dynamic, and then at the same time, if they are thinking that the ones that are bought back are going to be like burned or something like that, then you might have the opportunity where you're starting to show people, or a percentage of them are burned. Now it's a deflationary thing, so it almost guarantees it's going to go up in price as the transactions increase on the network. In addition to that, of course, right?
Yeah,
these are just off my head.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to make this system sustainable as well. We want to, be able to, whatever our network expands at, we want to have the ability to say, yep, a year from now, we're still going to have the ability to issue tokens. We're not going to run out. So, it obviously depends what the rewards are per transaction, per sign up, or these sorts of things. So yeah, I think the community would sort of want to perhaps have a buyback and burn. And yeah, we're open to it. So definitely, let your thoughts be heard.
Another option would be something like what Steem does with the power down. You could buy back and say, we're not going to be able to use these for a year or something like that. And then once the year is up, you're able to decide what to do with them or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if we're distributing though in some way, then that means that what we're buying back is then entering circulation again, which has the net benefit of then people may sell it again. So it kind of reduces the benefit of us buying. So there needs to be some sort of lockup mechanism in place for sure.
Cool.
Does anybody have any questions or comments regarding this remittance markets? Because what they're doing, I'm just going to make it clear, because not everybody here, most of you are more from Steem at this point, but there's obviously a lot of crossover between the platforms. So I'm not trying to say that you don't know what you're talking about or anything, but one of the big things that we've talked about earlier is that remittance markets is hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And that's with a B. What, like 600 billion or something like that?
Yep.
And to be able to give these different countries a decentralized means of accomplishing remittance in a scalable way, mind you, everyone, is what they're bringing to Bitshares. and that's huge.
Just to add on that, it's like I live in a city that has a lot of people who have family in other nations, and what they do is they move here, they work, and then they send money back home. And the way they do that right now through Western Union and these other shops is not the most efficient way after blockchain got developed. So this is a pretty exciting project in my end.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's just the official numbers, the 600 billion. Most people think that the unofficial way, sort of on the black market as well, is at least, double that. So there's a lot of money out there, which is going back and forth between different places. And people use these cash shops. That's what they do. They, many people, for small transactions, they might not have a bank account. So having some online website or some app is not useful for the large majority of the population. So you've got to have something which targets cash. You've got to have something which targets where people are at the shops. And the beauty of this system is they don't have to know about all the technical stuff behind a blockchain and Bitshares. They just go to a shop which they've gone to, and then they put their cash, and then they say, hey, I want to send it somewhere. And then the shop will go and type it into Bitspark and it will get sent. So, the actual end customer doesn't need to know all the technical stuff behind how blockchains work to actually use it.
So what about BlockPay? What resemblance is there between BlockPay and you, if you do know BlockPay?
I've only looked briefly at BlockPay, but my understanding is they're a POS terminal, correct? More targeted at merchants?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's a different use case, entirely different customer base. It's for POS terminal transactions. We're for money transfer shops and money transfer businesses, and, they're cash in, cash out vendors that send internationally. So different use case, but totally support what the BlockPay guys are doing. Looks awesome.
Okay, great. I just wanted to see the difference. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so if there's any other questions, then you can find me on the Telegram chat or also in Discord as well. We have a Bitspark channel, and that's where we'll be talking all things Zephyr. As I said, token sale officially begins to the public on the 6th of October, and there's some discounts in for that as well. And we're happy to make it happen, and we'll be rolling this out within the next few months with the UN in Tajikistan. Spoke a little bit about that in the previous chat, but that's going to be our first pilot of the whole system.
Well, I don't know how Tajikistan is, but how the Philippines is they have a lot of these mom and pop shops essentially, and they all have phones and basic internet almost on them, like many people. I was stunned by how many people carry around a phone and have some access to internet with it. So My question is, are you guys planning on all these mobile applications for them just to download it to a tablet or something and they can do it that way?
Yeah, we already have our mobile app called Sendy. You can check it out in the Android App Store. From that, you can see where our existing money transfer shops are. And particularly to your point about the Philippines, we already have about 100,000 cash out destinations there. Now, these are destinations which are connected to us, not 100,000 locations using Bitspark. But having said that, that's every single bank in the Philippines you can receive money, and every single cash physical shop. Some of the big ones there are called Cebuana, Mlua, LBC, and a couple of others. That's how people receive money, is these physical shops. So we have to be able to hook into that, which we do. But the idea is that you can download our app wherever you may be in the world, and you'll be able to visit a Bitspark shop or a Bitspark connected, cash in or cash out location, and be able to send money on your phone. And Philippines is a good use case for that. I think they have free Facebook there, which is why everyone is on Facebook.
Yes, yeah.
Or the internet, or the megabytes are not counted towards your plan or something like that.
Well, my alarm just actually went off and cut me off. So really quickly, before we go any further, the Zephyr token is not currently trading. Is that correct?
Correct. Not currently trading until the end of the token sale period, which will be the 6th of November.
Okay. So people can look forward to that, and I would love to hear back from you a little bit more in the future. But I do want to make it clear to everybody, it is on the DEX. You can go and actually go to see the market. It's just there's just nothing on there except for buy orders right now. And that means that they haven't put them out yet. So you can go see where the market is, and they have actually, I believe, Steam Power Picks posted it for you guys in the post as a reply. And with that said, how do people reach out to you if they would like to work with you in any way, shape, or form on this?
Yeah, so you can reach me on Twitter at George_Harrop. You can also reach me on the Bitshares Telegram chat. I think I'm at George_Bitspark there, and the same on Discord as well. But if you do have any questions of the company or anything, reach out to us at info@bitspark.io. So that's the best locations.
info@bitspark.io.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for joining up, man. And I do appreciate it. I think that it cannot be understated how valuable remittance is to the crypto space, and especially to these countries that you guys are bringing it to. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
No worries. Thank you very much, Fuzzy, for hosting this. And looking forward to hear from all the other cool projects.
It's always cool to know that there are people who listen and that you guys have listened to us in the past. So it always is a very humbling experience to find out who has listened to it. So thanks for also doing that, man. Now up next is going to be Ride of Passion, and he's going to be giving some updates on the Voiceshares. Ride of Passion, are you available?
Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Guys, today's update about Voiceshares is about Voiceshares website that we have launched, and it's live now. I wouldn't call it Voiceshares website. It was basically designed to give the latest updates of the entire projects of BeyondBit community. So we have launched it, and it's live now. And then the second one is the implementation of value propositions that Voiceshares was planning on. So we will be starting our subscription services for our health related sessions. So first of all, to talk about the Voiceshares website, it's myvoiceshares.com, wherein the latest updates about Voiceshares, where we have a page wherein people can post their stories. So we are not using Google Forms anymore. We have our own portal where people can post their stories. Then people can start getting involved, and this is one way wherein we can bring people from outside crypto world into the crypto world and make them a part of this decentralized environment. And even there, as Nutella just said, everything done there will be anonymous. So it is just like Google Forms, but without it is our own thing right now. And for all the amazing projects on the BeyondBit community, we have a separate page dedicated to BeyondBit community, wherein all the projects on BeyondBit community, updates of all the projects will be posted there, so that any one of you want to know the latest update on any particular project in the community, you can go there and look into it. So I'm working with all the projects to get the latest updates and then keep updating the site as and when we go on. Second thing is about the subscription services. As of now, we were only trying to distribute Voiceshares to various channels. So now we are implementing our value propositions, wherein the first value propositions will be a subscription based service for a fitness session on how to condition your mental health based on your fitness. It will be hosted by an certified fitness expert and a medical student who can speak on both the levels, that is as far as fitness is concerned, and also about the mental health, hormones and everything. So that is one thing that we are bringing into the forum. People can enroll to this service or subscribe to this service starting from next month, and the token that will be accepted for the project or for the subscription will be Voiceshares. So this is one way wherein we are trying to bring back Voiceshares into the system, and we are trying to buy back the Voiceshares for the services that we offer. Since Voiceshares as of yet is not backed by a huge SP, this is one way wherein we are, as we planned, we wanted to implement this. And I've been speaking to IntelliGuy as well about this, and we are also trying to work out a business model or the working model of Voiceshares. And this was basically developed keeping in mind the entire projects, because we have community casino there, we have Steam Philippines, then we will be having other projects which Chief is coming up with. So all the projects and my Voiceshares is basically about synergy. So we will be focusing more on creating the synergy between various projects in the community and co-promote each other through the website. And also the second update was about the subscription service for the fitness sessions. So these were the two things that I wanted to bring. And anyone who is coming up with a project in the BeyondBit community, please feel free to reach me. We can develop that site to be the place where people go to seek updates on all the things that is happening in the BeyondBit communities. And also we have a place for the contributor space. So that is our second value proposition that we are implementing. So people who want to buy some space on our stories on Steemit, you can do it by paying us with your own tokens in exchange for voice shares. And then you can pay us back the voice shares for the space. So even that is there, and you also get a separate column for on the website also called as contributor space. And that was the second value propositions that we started implementing. So these were the few things that I wanted to update you guys about, and I hope this brings some value to the Beyond Bit community and all the amazing work that Fuzzy is doing. This is my bit to bring the entire community together. So I just want all your support. Just come to me with your updates, some crucial updates, not every single day updates. Anything very crucial that is happening with your project, please reach out to me. I'm doing this for no money or anything. It's not financial. It's purely based on the values that we develop out of this community, and I'm ready to promote your project if it is of some good value added to it. So please feel free to reach out to me. In exchange, what you can do is you can just promote voice shares. That is all we ask for, and through your post or anything, just give us a shout out, and that is more than enough for us. So that's it. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
So, hi, Rider Passion. What about the support for the depression? And you said you want to look into that. So is the space idea of you that it can be people who have experienced something and they can help other people? Is that a good example?
Yes, this is something that I've started with. When I said fitness, it was mainly focused on conditioning your mental health. So this is our first subscription-based services. And for people who have sent us their stories, that sessions will be free for them. They don't have to pay us anything. We are doing it for free. And for people who are already surviving, who are already depression survivors, can take part in the sessions and contribute to the sessions by their experience as to how they came out of that situation in their life.
That's great. That's wonderful.
And also, Nutella, anything about your project that you are coming up with, I think it is mostly aligned with what we are trying to do. So I'll be happy to promote your work there, and also on this Steemit. It's more about creating that synergy and working together. So we will be happy to promote your work as well.
Yeah, well, the idea was more that to not convolute it and to have people who have a depression, maybe they don't have professional help or the professional help is not good enough. So that's why I asked, I'd like to see people who have experience with psychology, who have some degrees maybe, or who have some experience to chime in and help people on the voice shares. That was my idea. And if I can contribute, I will.
Yes, that's perfect. We already have people, who are into psychology. One is a psychologist and there is another student who is into psychology, and you are there. So we shall have a subscription-based services for that as well, for the normal public who want to take part in those sessions and events. And they can always reach out to us, and they can always use Voiceshares to pay us for those subscriptions. And for now, it's about how fitness can model your mental health and condition your mental health. And it also deals with, it's a series of course. It's a series of around 10 sessions. It will cover the entire subject about depression as to how fitness can be a part of your curing process.
Out of curiosity, is this website, are you posting to Steam yourself whenever you're posting here?
This is not a Steemit call website. It's a totally independent website. But yes, this is more about promoting the projects on the Beyond Bit community. For example, giving updates on when the next Whaletank is, what is the latest update on Steam Philippines or Community Casino or whatever Chief is doing with points. So this is more about giving an update and trying to bring people together at one place to look for the entire updates of Beyond Bit community.
Gotcha. Now, you did have something that you were talking about the last time that you spoke, which was regarding possibility of having your own chain at some point. Are you guys still considering that?
Yes, I am still considering it, and I was discussing the same with IntelliGuy as well. I think the next step would be an app for the project and then subsequently a chain. And I'm still working on getting the chain done, and the project is still on. However, I'm still in discussions with IntelliGuy on how to proceed with it. Because we need some guidance and advice from you and all the senior members here as to go about doing this thing together.
I'd like to just say a few words if I could. The Voiceshares project, when I first heard about it, I got involved because of the sheer honesty behind Rite of Passion with trying to approach people with depression and stuff. And it's not too long ago that somebody actually did commit suicide that was a Steemit member. And some of you might know who that was. And it's unfortunate, out of the blue, that can happen with some people. So I loaned a bunch of my Steam power to Rite of Passion's project called Voiceshares on Steemit. And with that, he's managed to grow that account to 1,000 Steam power of its own. And so, it's loaning that for him to be able to get this project off the ground is terrific. Now, here's the thing, is that he's able to give people a voice for this sort of thing, but he's not able to reward people properly. I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, but the goodness of somebody's heart can only take them so far. It's important to be able to not just do that, but to give something back. And so there's got to be value created here. So he's looking for anybody that has a tip or suggestion on how to monetize the token Voiceshares, because currently he's rewarding me for my Voiceshares with this Voiceshares token. But if I were to cash it out, it's not worth anything because nobody has an incentive to buy it. There is a way to get this done. Usually it's tax deductible receipts in traditional charities, but we're not dealing with tax credits here at this point. So we'll leave it for the after party today. If anybody wants to hang around for the after party or email Rite of Passion, he puts his email address right on the blog and whatnot, please get a hold of one of us, either IntelliGuy or Rite of Passion, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Oh, if I can say something really quickly, I've been a coach for also like spiritual and mental health, and I'd suggest to use those Voiceshares to have like a one-to-one sessions with people, like now over Mumble or Discord or anything.
Yes, that was the main concept behind starting the subscription-based services. The only currency that we accept as a payment for our subscription services is Voiceshares. So this is one small effort that we are starting out because I started this project with 0 Steam power, and within 2 to 3 weeks, it's now 1,000 Steam power that we are backing with. So this is the kind of response that the project is getting. But at some point in time, we need to realize that everyone who is supporting us will also have bills to pay, and we need to reward them as well with our tokens. And we need to monetize the tokens and bring up the value of the tokens in the trade market. And one such thing that we have started with is with contributor space, because I think PDT has contributed around 1,000 BitShares for the tokens, and in return we have given them space on our post. And Exactly has given us constant upvotes, and for that they have also been getting some contributor space. That is one such value proposition that was implemented to bring up the value of Voiceshares as a token. But this is a project which is not backed by a huge SP, so we need some backing, some support from all of you. Give us your advice as to how we can go about it. One thing is we have already started subscription services, and there it's mostly about paying with Voiceshares for getting our services. So that is one way that we are starting out with. Anything better you can come up with, please let me know. I'll always be there on Discord or on email, so you can always reach out to me.
Well, I will say this. I think one of the things that is extremely valuable from this service, and one of the reasons why I was asking if it posts directly from Voiceshares to the chain, is under the Share Your Voice tab. You can write your story. And
that is mostly about sending your story to Voiceshares to share it with the world. And right now Voiceshares is on the Steemit chain, but subsequently we would want our own portal and own chain to be running for such stories. But Share Your Voice is something where you go and share your voice without being known to anyone. And it's one of the most anonymous way of sending your stories to Voiceshares.
And what I was actually going to say is I think that maybe between what Jesta has built and what I've had some stuff built for this news site stuff, you guys might be able to incorporate that, and it would be able to plug into your own chain.
Yeah, that can be done. A small code tweak is something that we can always do, because I was an engineer before, so this was built by me, and this tweaking of code also can be done, and it shouldn't be very difficult, and it would be great if you can give us some source code for it.
So somebody is also curious why you want to have a separate chain. Is it for the anonymity?
Okay. See, the separate chain comes into picture when you have to grow your token value and increase your user base on your own portal, and that is the reason where we can. That is the way we can bring in more people to use voice shares, more people to trade voice shares, and more services that we can roll out from voice shares, which uses voice shares as a token. So all this may not be feasible by running our services on someone else's chain. Instead, it would be feasible for us to even get donations for the project, but if we have our own chain and our own user base. And trust me, mental health and any such issues which is not told, which is untold, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we are doing something good for the society. At the same time, we are bringing up a business model to help and reward everyone who are around us.
That's great.
And I think I'm done with my time.
Yes, we are at the 15-minute mark. If you're interested, you're more than welcome to put more time into it. I don't mind either way if anybody has any more questions, but please just feel free to let me know right now.
Actually, I wanted to update two main updates, so I've done that, and even the Q&A is almost done. So I think I'll not be extending my time for the day.
Sounds fair. I'll tell you what, man, it's a very interesting project, and I'm glad to see you continue moving forward on this and really sticking to it and watching the evolution to this site. A lot of sites don't really, a lot of projects don't have sites that are this nice, and this is a nice site, and you've only been up and running for what, 3 or 4 months?
Not even 3 or 4 months, it's 1.5 months.
Man, so you guys have done a lot with the little bit of funding that you've received, and I don't think I have to say too much about what you've used the Beyond Bits for, because you've pretty much shown us here today.
And thank you for that, for the constant support, Fuzzy, and I hope I keep contributing and helping the community as well. And on a lighter note, I hope I win one of these Whaletanks one of these days.
Sounds good. And thank you, IntelliGuy, for helping out with this project, because this is a very valuable project.
Yes, he has been a very crucial support for the project all throughout the 1.5 month period that we have been associated with.
You're very welcome, and I try to, almost anybody, find projects of your own, whether it be this one or another one. It's nice to be able to give back from the communities that we're participating in.
Now, with that said, I want to just really quickly say thank you to everybody here who's joined up today, and I will be passing out a guest list to be signing for this attendance, and we'll be using that for share dropping some tokens on you guys. But also, please feel free to make sure that you add your email address when I do this. And with that said, I also want to say thank you for all of you who are letting everybody know about what we're doing here, because doing things in an organic fashion is not always easy, but it builds value in a way that maybe otherwise it couldn't, there couldn't be certain types of things like oaks, and stronger woods take longer to grow, and they grow strong because it takes a lot longer. So sometimes it's a very good thing for things to take a while to build up. And what we're doing, as you can see, is we're planting these seeds so trees will grow, as opposed to going out and buying trees that have already been grown by somebody else and giving them a cut. We try to plant the seeds and water them at home, and it's starting to pay off with projects like these. So thank you to all of you who join up and bring your communities to these things, because this is how we bring value to the world. Now, with that said, we are on to Nutella today, and he's going to be talking a little bit about clinical trials on the blockchain. And there was a little bit of discussion actually within the RSVP thread itself. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens on this discussion.
All right. Yeah, so it's actually an interesting thing how I went about, because first I thought, okay, the Whaletank, it's so a bit inaccessible and all the information is very interesting, but sometimes it's not your topic. And what I saw, like, hey, let's make the transcriptions and stuff. And while I was doing that, then I saw like, oh, it's like pretty darn difficult. Some technical issues I had, and I thought like I have to take a break and move on. And I have a lot of other things from my personal life which I could share. But in the meantime, this technical difficulty I had with fervent back to remix those tracks, because I'm recording in multi-channel right now also. So I've solved that. So it's actually it's almost like completely done. And I can post the whole transcription thing, and I have like some milestone, It's kind of nice how it all comes together with Rite of Passion, because I have in previous, I had a lot of stuff in my personal life which was quite ugly, and I did a lot of like neuro-linguistic programming work, and and then I had the Avatar course, which is like a really great course, but it's also quite expensive, not for everybody, I think, manageable, but you get a lot out of it. But also there was an end, to then I went on to solve like physical issues, and I didn't know I had like gluten intolerance and stuff like that. And so I came into this circuit of alternative medicine, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And there are like people who are vegans, and they say, "Oh, you have to be a vegan." So I was a vegan, and I was like, "Oh, it's so great," but it actually made my problems much worse. And my brother, who was also always very healthy, he suddenly had like multiple sclerosis, and we were in our family like, what, And he was like paralyzed. Half of his body was paralyzed, and he got out of it. But he never did something with his diet or anything like that. And our parents have some digestive issues and stuff, but they never talked about it. And if you go to the doctor, it was like really unpleasant, and they are looking at you like, what the heck is he talking about? And so thank God for the internet. But the problem with the internet is that everybody knows everything, better. And yeah, you have to be a vegan. No, you have to be a paleo and blah, blah, blah. But nobody, with the advent of the blockchain, I didn't see much going on, like some clinical trials on Stanford. But it's kind of like, I didn't hear like any great big news. And I really wanted to talk about it, because also with EOS, I got an email, we're already like on milestone 1.0. And I thought, hey, that's great. It's going much faster as expected. And I had a few years ago a plan to make an iPhone app, because I also developed an iOS, sorry. And I wanted to log it all on a blockchain, because these devices, these smartphones, they have all these sensors, and they can log how much you exercise, what you do. And with MS, people cannot move very well. And one thing which I did, when I was getting out of this problem, because my problem started actually that I had no energy, and I had tried several diets, and it was all like not so very good. And I had sent my brother once, through my father, I had sent a link to a talk by Terry Walsh, who is suffering from MS herself, but she was like in a wheelchair, and she got out of this wheelchair through a diet, and she wrote a whole book. And that's like the recipe to get well, because in that book you have everything laid out for you, the whole science. She became like a functional medicine practitioner. Also, I think it's also like a doctor, but not allopathic, but nutritional, holistic. So while he didn't do anything about it, and then he became like very much better through this diet. And then the diet came back to me. So I started doing this diet too. And it was tremendous what it did. It had like healthy fat, all in coconut oil, and you have to eat like organ meat, which is like kind of a big issue, but once you get over it, it helps you tremendously. So then I thought like, hey, okay, I was measuring my health progress through training. I always ran the same amount, and I saw like, hey, if I eat this, because I love sweets, right? Why do you think my nickname is Nutella? Because I was always eating chocolate. Yeah. And so that's a really funny story. I came to the Czech Republic, and people they couldn't pronounce my last name, so they said like, hey, we'll call you Nutella because you're always eating it. And so that's stuck. So I love sweets, right? So when I ate sweets, I immediately saw, hey, my power is less, I don't have much strength, I don't feel so well. And I thought, hey, this is excellent. I mean, it's so simple. You just measure the movement. And Apple, even because I developed an iOS, Apple even has a health kit and a research kit. I know more about the health kit. It just logs all your data, and you cannot alter it, right? That's also so nice. I mean, Apple, a lot of people think Apple's overvalued, but some of their core libraries are very powerful, are very nice, and that's maybe a reason why everybody copies them, like Samsung, right? The whole UI thing and so. So I thought, hey, this is great, but it's a lot of work. And I don't see myself doing it on my own. But I did want to bring it up because I get a ton of emails in my mailbox, and there's such much good information in it. And everybody's talking like more or less the same things, like ketogenic diets and all this kind of stuff. And but you don't see any research, or if you do see research like from greenmet.info, it's very technical, very hard to, And I had some discussions with people on Steemit about vaccines, because I didn't believe vaccines were harming kids. And so I investigated, and because I was sick, I had a lot of time, so I could do that. And, it's amazing how convoluted and how this whole discussion, and people are very aggressive. So I was thinking, hey, there has to be some way for also alternative practitioners who don't have a lot of money to do some sort of clinical analysis on a blockchain, use data which we all have available, like our phones, or Apple Watches, or Apple Samsung Gear watches. I don't know what you have, and just send it all to the blockchain. And then you have pure data, which cannot be tampered with, because I know from my own experience that, for example, they did some testing on radio frequency and there were autistic children and children with ADHD, and those radio frequencies were badly affecting them, but the rest was fine. So they just excluded those people, and they said, hey, our technology is harmless, you can use it. And because I had personal experience by having cell towers near to my house, which made me sick, I was like getting very, very angry, right? And, if you say something like that, then people are like, hey, you're nuts, and it's not ionizing radiation and can't do you anything. And there's such much bullshit because there are hidden interests and stuff like that,
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about it, And so also with these things with like Pride of Passion, you see a lot of people on Steemit talking about health, getting good money out of it, but there's not like much, can you believe it? Many people, it worked for them. Yeah, it worked for them, but it doesn't have to work for you, And I also see like little flaws in huge quality product, like from Dr. Walsh, which, that it's hard to digest. You have to get some digestive things and stuff like that. So there are all these people like competing for attention, I get emails like a lot on a day, from, let's say 5, 7, which are really good. And it is all interrelated. But yeah, now we have Steemit, and I was also looking at Dr. Mercola, because he has the best outline of his posts. He has a video, an introductory video, which is very short. Then he has like an interview, which can be an hour long, and he just like takes the main points, and he has a downloadable transcript, and it's easy to read. At the beginning, he has like the story at glance, where you can quickly read, oh, is this for me or not? And this is like wonderful, I want to see this. Like Steemit could be like also like an output for all this medical data, or like, hey, here we have all our medical data in this blockchain, we've tested that this works, and now we can blog about it, right? So yeah, my idea was to just pitch this and see if something hangs on. I don't know, and maybe in future there will be some collaboration, or with the coming EOS, which looks very promising. I was thinking to contact all these doctors and practitioners, which I'm actually already doing, because we don't have in Europe any shops for with all those herbal products and stuff. Even Infowars, the Alex Jones Infowars store has some very interesting products. I know they can work, because I know the ingredients, and contact those people and bring it over to Europe and bring people to Steam or to EOS and whatnot. If you have any questions, let me know. I see the time's almost over, but
Well, I know that IntelliGuy had some things that he could say, but I could talk all day about it too. It's up to IntelliGuy at this point.
Yeah, I saw it that he there was like this falsifications of data or something like that. They were taken back, those studies. Yeah.
Yeah, basically he quoted an article, and he was nice enough to put in his RSVP post links to all of the articles that he was quoting as part of his topic of discussion, which is nice. So it makes it easier for the reader. But one of them was, blockchains could be used to stop fraudulent science. And I was like, fraudulent science? What the hell's fraudulent science? So anyways, I clicked the link and I read about it, and they said all of these, we've seen them before, the medical journals and the scientific, papers on things. It's like white paper in cryptocurrency, but white paper for things on whether or not cell phone towers are good for you, or, smoking causes cancer and all those things. And these are like headline things that normal society walks around with all the time going, well, I heard something about that on the radio. I didn't really pay attention and I didn't investigate it. Well, blockchains can actually quantify that. So when you do searching, conflicting things will actually work themselves out on the blockchain so that there'll be one currently approved thing, whether or not milk is good for you as an adult or not, different things like that. And that might actually give legitimacy to science in general. We could evolve as a human race for all this stuff. So, we're still just trying to fight on transmitting value on the blockchain, but where we're going to see our kids grow up, they're actually going to grow up in a place if blockchain keeps going the way that it is, that our entire future of humanity is going to be way different. So he was just Nutella's just touching the surface, it was like rubbing the bottle with the genie in it. And I see that the genie's about to come out. So I was very interested in hearing him today.
Well, there's actually a project that's coming out. It's called Metablocks. And it's a guy who I was talking to behind the scenes about. He approached me and asked me about this type of stuff. He said, what should I do for a blockchain if I wanted to build it? Because apparently IBM lets him go out and play around with what he does. Essentially what it is, like whenever he told me what he did, because I asked him, I said, well, before you ask me what kind of chain you should build, what do you do? Like, what's your history? What do you know? What kinds of things do you do? And he said, oh, I used to be a physician. I'm also a coder now, and I want to build a chain. And I was like, So they're actually working, and there's a guy named Talkinator who's working with them a little bit too behind the scenes from Bitshares. And they're doing something that's kind of like this, where you will control your own data.
Yeah, that's also very interesting, right? Who belongs the data to? And if there's a way that that there's not being tampered, nothing has been done to your data, that's very important too. So this whole topic on vaccinations, which is like very hot right now, people can actually chip in. They maybe want to even donate, pay money to have their kids monitored, or to have some new, experimental science they can work. I think this is huge.
Well, I appreciate everything that you're talking about. Bringing this up is a very important issue in my mind, especially with respect to the use of blockchain technology and using it responsibly, because we always have to recognize that all technology, from the beginning days of when tribes would collect fire in a little hut that they would build and try to keep it going after a lightning strike or something started it, ever since fire, people used tools to destroy things, rocks even were a tool before fire, right? And I'm sure they used them for good things and for bad. So it's really up to us. And that's kind of why I've always gone to the idea of we should always let people control their data, and then they can, give in, be part of studies and stuff and get paid for it because they're giving that portion of their data away.
Okay, so to be very practical, because time is actually up, would you think it's a good idea to contact people like Dr. Mercola and all those other people? Because I'm sort of on their level, a bit, because I've put so much time in it. I can actually approach them and say, hey, EOS is coming. What do you think about all your products being tested on a medical blockchain or something? Do you want to participate, or what do you think? Is too early, or?
I don't think that what I think matters. I think what you think matters. But if you're asking me, I think that this is the time when blockchains are becoming sexy. Blockchains with use cases.
I would give a suggestion that there's never a bad time to talk about it. talk about it now. Ask him what would you need to take it to the next step. How, and he would lay it out for you. He would say, I would like to see this first or that first, and then you can go away from that conversation and see what it takes to build that or the other thing to make them feel more comfortable. Always feel free to talk about blockchain to almost anybody at any given moment. It's okay.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, in fact, and the more people are not afraid of it, the less susceptible that they'll be to the propaganda that gets pushed throughout mainstream media towards stuff, right? I mean, we've all seen Bitcoin, the anonymous currency, and we all just laugh, because all of us know it's not an anonymous currency, right? So it's kind of funny that this kind of propaganda is effective, but if we advocate and teach people about this type of stuff and the value propositions, we can help substantially in increasing the valuable use cases of it, right?
Yes, I think I don't want to steal any more time. So, but I think I will talk with some guys. Also, Apple Crisp, he was amazing with some stuff. Like, hey, did you try this? Did you try Kefir? And I think, that's a good one. I didn't. So, but we need to put it all in some change to say, hey, this got me really better. And I have proof, and so many others did. So. Yeah, I will go ahead and talk with some people, and then slowly we'll see what happens.
Do me a favor and remind me to connect you up with the MedBlocks guys.
Yeah, I will.
Sounds good, man. Well, thank you very much. And if you guys are okay with it, we can move on to Chief Mapster. And I would like to hear a little bit about the updates on the Beat Battle, if you can talk a little bit about that.
So the Beat Battle League, part of the Steemit Music League, and it's on 7th week, almost done. We're actually accepting entries till Tuesday. But what we did is we made this Beyond Bitcoin as a theme. Because usually every week we either give a theme or a sample material for people to use and make beats off of it. So what we did is the option for them to take Beyond Bitcoin literally. So life literally is life beyond Bitcoin. Or take it as the current brand, which is all a discussion of all things crypto. And then I also put another option is to infuse one of the following foundations of the Beyond Bitcoin into your entry: entrepreneurship, building projects and movements, doing the right thing and building long-term growth, technology and cryptocurrency, and/or truth and justice. So those were we have 5 entries so far, and I know we have another 4 coming in. The ones, my favorite one so far, he actually listened to a whole show, I think it was 220, and sampled different people's voices. Everybody's from Fuzzy to I think Apple Chris and Marky Mark voices, and threw it in the beat. And then the other people took different options. So I'm gonna go get these links real quick and post it so everybody can listen to them.
That's cool.
You're just excited you're in a song.
No, I really love. What I'll say is I love to make it so we can have it so organically a bunch of people build and create something, and then we have rather than just one, we have an archive of them that we can just grab onto if we want to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that top one is Termite Music. I made this beat just now. He's the one that did your voice, and it's in the beginning, middle, and end. It's awesome. So he ends it. Marky Mark says, "Is there any more questions?" And then you come in and say, "Actually, yes, I do," and then that's how he ends it. But it's pretty good, and it's awesome, and he does it throughout the whole beat. But it really shows there's so many talented people, and what they really value about this is the feedback. So we have it looks like between 10 and 15 producers coming a part of this community. And some we have more entries than others in other weeks, but it seems like right now we're getting the most we are doing, and it's really helping to retain members and keep them interested and always coming back and posting. We had one guy from the Philippines do a beatboxing, and he got $68 for his post. So Beyond Bits really helps because we can get these posts up, and he only saw the posts, and we also got some whale support for the first couple of times on some of these posts because they saw it in the hot page. He would never have saw it. But it's some of the ones I got last week I used to just vote up on some of these, because sometimes some of these entries only get 10 cents, and they really spend a lot of time. So I really don't feel like I feel like you should give them more than that. So we do that. We'll be announcing the winners Tuesday. So I mean, if you guys want to give us any input, or by voting on some of them, you actually can help them win the community favorite, because we pay out the top 4 people, and then the 5th one is a community favorite one. So whoever gets the most votes, comments, and the total dollar amount altogether, they'll combine those three things. They win the community favorite, which is 10 SBD and some extra points. So if you want to support us, you can always do that and also add comments. It seems like the feedback is really helping these music producers. And we got people from the Philippines. The guy who won it 4 weeks in a row is from the Netherlands, and so we have people from America all over. So it's really cool that we're bringing all these people together, and Steemit's where it's at. And Beat Battle League is cool because it can go to EOS, it can go to Steemit, it can go wherever. It's really about bringing people together to help them give feedback. But I guess any feedback would be awesome. And if anybody, I think you'll like the entries so far, but those are, feel free to use those and any Beyond Bitcoin, any of these entries, Beyond Bitcoin related material, anybody that does the videos or anything market material, all these entries you can use.
And when does this close?
Monday night, and we'll be announcing the winners Tuesday.
Cool.
And so I think that the one thing I've learned about this is that a lot of different people have different perspectives on music. And I guess the one thing we're learning is music is art. So a lot of people value different things. So that's why we have 6 different people from all over the world part of the judging panel. So that, some of them are in the music industry. Some of them have been to concerts all over the world for 20 years. Some people are, music producers in the, like instrumentals in the industry, who has over 10,000 songs in his catalog. So we have most from the technical to kind of the big picture people. So we can kind of give these producers good feedback from different perspectives.
It's cool, man. I'm just looking at some of the posts. So it's what I was going to say is that competitions and these types of things are something that more and more I'm getting interested in going into the direction of. I like to be able to adapt to the situations that we're in because obviously you have to be fluid in a volatile space like crypto to even survive. So competitions and giving out these tokens have proven to me up to this point to be one of the most valuable ways of getting this to happen. Have you seen that? Do you feel like the response has been better though than maybe past ones, or no?
For the Beat Battle League, the initial thoughts were there weren't even enough people on here to do it. So I was the one who believed in it, that there really is enough people out there. You just got to kind of do it the right way. But it seems like, people, if you pay them, say you pay producers $250 for music, they feel like it's work. But say it's just like back to Predictably Irrational. If you give someone a gift, they're more willing to work more. So some of these producers, they spend 5, 6, 7 hours on these entries, and they do it because it's fun. And it's like part of a contest. It's not work for them. So I think the contesting challenges and using that synergy and how it makes people feel is a great way to promote good products, good ideas, and good services.
I kind of have always seen it like that. Like we can fund you basically doing what you want.
Exactly, and that's why
it proves to be good.
Yeah, that's why I love the universal nature of Voiceshares and Beyond Bitcoin, because that's why it's another reason why I think it'd be good in students, is because it really helps people stay motivated, and you can make it your own. So everybody has different dreams and different purposes. So why not use these tokens as a way to achieve those dreams?
I would love to see more of these types of things from, if you have other people that you're working with too, of course, that's, bring them on. But this is really great, man. I'm glad to see so many entries.
Thank you, buddy. And I try to give feedback, really good feedback every time just when they submit it. And then usually when I judge them, it takes between 6 and 8 hours. It's a long process. And I try to write in the moment. And so sometimes it's kind of long, but it seems like everybody values it. It just, there's really no, I'm losing money. There's not money involved. It's about doing the right thing and helping people and actually just caring. Some people just want you to listen down and listen to music. That's good enough for them. So I'm just trying to do my part, and the judges are really helpful too as well. But the one thing I'm trying to get them to do more of is comment more feedback, because right now I'm doing all the feedback from the posts. They do comments and stuff, but I'm doing all the post work. So that's why we added more people, so we can give more perspective on the big post page. But because we want to give them as much feedback as possible, because all that takes is just time and effort.
There's a question for you. Who's the team behind this besides just you?
Let's see. JP, he's been saying the Voiceshares since the beginning. So really, he's the only other one that's been around since the beginning. And then he doesn't judge anything. He's kind of busy, so he doesn't thing right now. And then Digital, he's in Malaysia. He's a judge. We added him like the third week. He is actually one of Canada's biggest hip hop stars from the 90s. He's been doing a lot of different things, but he is helping us. And then we just added Danny Elk, who lives in Germany, lives in Mauritius, but is from Germany. Traveled over Europe, working with the best producers and concerts last week. And then Bam Bam 808, who does the Steemit, you know him from the Got Talent, Steemit Got Talent in the gaming league. And then Instrumentals, just added this past week. So those are the people, but for the work, it's just mostly me.
All right. And how do you find these people? Or do they come to you, or is it just like, hey, you've been here for a while, I don't want to be a judge or something like that?
Well, I can reach out to most of them, all the people I trust, and they have good perspective. So that's the reason why I reach out to them.
Cool. Thanks.
How do you reach out to them? Because I'm trying to reach out to some people, but it's like really hard.
Yeah, they have to trust you and believe the mission. Like a lot of these people are my friends, so that helps. That's why, because it really takes a lot of time to judge, and people are busy. So with the Steemit Music League, I got 3 judges, so it's hard to even get 3, let alone 6. So.
Yes. So, and are you using D-Sound or are they using D-Sound to put it on D-Sound to have some like extra traction?
I saw one person do it this week. It seems like everybody's. Some people post through like Verbal D does mostly SoundCloud. Some people do YouTube. But yeah, I think that's something once it becomes easier and all the bugs are worked out, I'm sure that'd be something we can involve with.
Yeah, those bugs, man.
Especially if they want to sponsor it. I'm sure everybody would want to be on MTube or DTube or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a good sponsoring.
But yeah, and so it's cool that we really haven't had any help. JP's from the beginning, he was the one that did the Whaleshares. So me and him, he supplied the Whaleshares. I usually have to hit him up though because he's busy doing what he does in Bulgaria. But yeah, it's really cool what we can do, just building community. And a lot of the people from the beginning, first week, are still involved. And then we've added more and more big users and people who comment on other posts these past couple of weeks. So it's been really awesome.
Because if you post on D-Sound, you get a lot of more coverage maybe and more money. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why as long as I have the time and to do it, and I'm money covering other expenses, I'm all right. I can do this. But obviously the more it grows, the more prize pool we can offer, the more we can do. But I think we can grow over time, and we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for the winner. We fly to Vegas, and the one for the Beat Battle League, they get a championship belt. It's kind of what the Steam Poker League did. Is they got like a belt and they just customized it, and the winner can get that belt or they can just get a cash prize. But I have a feeling the person's going to want the belt.
Wow, that's
Who
great.
doesn't want a belt?
Yeah, who doesn't want a belt?
Right? It's like back to WWE, WWF back in the day. Everybody wants a belt, and even music people, they put it in their studio, and it gives them a reason to talk about it and bring other people to Steemit. That's the one thing Instrumentals is doing. He's big in the industry. So he's talking to big A&Rs in New York to try to get him on Steemit, because Steemit has so much talent and all over and you usually have to fly over the world to get this talent. All you can do now is just log into Steemit and just look through Steemit and find all these people from all over the world. So we're really trying to get these other people on because it really saves them time and money. And the more people in the music industry, the better, because people, rap about it on songs in the radio about Steemit. That'll boost Steemit like crazy, or Bitspark or whatever they want to rap about. So music has a lot of influence in the world. It's music and technology are the 2 biggest. So why not harness it and try to help this community?
Exactly.
I have a project that I think would synergize with this. So we got 2 things we got to talk about in the after party, buddy.
Yes, can't wait. If anybody wants to be a judge and you feel like your perspective and you want to give comments and feedback, please help out or any other way. This is a community thing, so we would love any help. Would be appreciated.
So how do you do that then?
Well, if you want to judge, I usually have a scoring card, but we can just talk in Discord. And usually I just have them write like a little background about themselves so they can be in the post. So the people in the league know about why we chose them and stuff like that. So why you feel like you'd be a good judge, and we can just put that in. So, but anybody that has any ideas with sponsoring or any funding, I'm on Discord most of the time at Chief Master, so I'm around.
Really cool.
I'm excited to see who Steam Power picks to use in his videos, which beat.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
there's some good options, and the people that have been here a while, they're still making their entries. So we've probably got like 4 to 5 more coming, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see because this was all started because Steam Power kind of needs some help as well, right?
And he's doing so much for the community, so why not? Can we do some synergy? And it seems like a lot of these music people, some of them knew about it, some of them don't. So the one guy who didn't know about it, he's the one that watched the whole episode and sampled it. So I mean, it brings awareness in more ways than one, and it's a really good thing. I feel like he is the MVP.
Heck yeah, he's the MVP.
He survived a hurricane. You gotta get something for that.
A belt, maybe?
Yeah, well played.
A belt, yes.
Congratulations. We're not going to help you with your houses. However,
Here's a belt.
There's a belt that
we have
floats.
some amazing belts. Silver plated. Okay. With that said, we are about 15 seconds out before this thing dings on us. So I appreciate the conversation today. And I also really love to hear other people joining in. It's one of the things that makes me smile when these happen, even though I could obviously talk all day about whatever I think and, what you guys are doing. But thank you very much for the participation. And before we move forward, Chief, how do people reach out to you if they want to help out or if they want to work with you in some way?
Chief Mapster, so it's CHIEF, M as in money, APPSTER at Gmail or on Discord. And I think over time I'll start explaining what that my name means, Chief Mapster. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being here for long term. It's really cool that I can do my dreams of helping people with music and on Steemit. It's really cool. And one of my friends just got booked for a big European tour by pretty big artists. So I'm hoping to bring this over to Europe. It will start in January. So I should be touring with them. Hopefully I can announce it soon, but I'm really excited.
Well, I will remind you that BitShares Muse is coming out, and they are planning on working on some stuff over there, and this is a great time to let everybody know who is here for these Hangouts and listening, as we are getting like 2,500 listens on our SoundCloud a week now. So for those of you who are new and not familiar with it, you can actually find open.muse on the BitShares decks or on Open Ledger. So feel free to check that out. And this is a great time to just say it. It's going to be kind of based on Steam, but it's going to be for musicians. So I feel like people who get in on that early are going to be benefiting highly. Now, with that said, we do have Bethalia. She came out of the shadows. We got her to put down her dagger.
Just Beth Fuzzy. How is everybody today? Sorry I was late.
Unforgivable.
I know. I can't.
Come on, Beth. What are you doing?
Messing up again, Chief.
We bought you some time. Don't worry.
Thank you. I'm sorry. It's nice to see everybody.
Sure. Feel free to just step up to the plate and give your updates. Of course, feel free to introduce yourself for anybody who is not familiar with the Hangouts and hasn't heard you potentially speak, because we do have a lot of new people coming into the ecosystem.
Oh, good. That's amazing. So I'm Bethalea. Think Princess Leia, but Bethalea. Beth is fine. I am co-founder of Community Casino. Community Casino is a Steam-based, thus far, gambling site, I guess. We're running 3 different games. We've got Community Hold'em that Nick Noss, my partner, runs. I have been running Blackjack, which is fun. And we also host a weekly poker tournament on Luxax, which is the Steam Poker League. So we run those 3 things, but our focus is to be able to share our profits with the community that we're involved in, wherever that is. We have big dreams. So our plan is to go global, obviously. And once we get into more brick and mortar, once we actually make a profit, we plan on taking letters of intent and reaching out to the community that surrounds us in wherever that is, and helping that, using the profits, using up to 50% of our profits to help our community. So far, we're not making any profits, so helping has been difficult. But for instance, later on this morning, I am running a fundraiser for the Steam Poker League. It's a poker tournament, and it may be illegal. There's been lots of discussions about this, but the plan is to have everybody buy in for a couple of Steam-backed dollars, and half of that will go to SPL, Steam Poker League, in order to help them continue putting the tournaments on. Yeah, I know, it's whatever. So that's what we're doing right now. We are also partnered up with Buildawhale. Next week, Buildawhale is going to be starting its own contest, and Community Casino is just sponsoring that. And so with all these different things, we're also partnered with Voiceshares. I'm not sure if Rite of Passion is here or if he's coming. I thought I saw him RSVP, but anyway, they've been super gracious and have given us a spot on their new website to be a part of, which is amazing. So we have a lot of outreach that we're doing right now, a lot of different places we're trying to help, a lot of different places we're playing, which is exactly our goal the whole time. We can definitely use some funding, however. Our poker and blackjack posts are about to be profitable, but not quite yet. So we could use some help there. I don't know, that's about where we are. Does anybody have any questions?
What software do you use to play poker?
It's luxx.com. So I don't know if anybody knows Tuck the Man and Big P Chef, but they started a Steam Poker League a while back. But that site's been running for a little while, but they've had issues with funding and development and other kinds of things. So since Community Casino, Nick and I and Chief and we all met through Luxx and the Steemit Poker League. So I'm trying to figure out the best way that we can support them. So for right now, that's what we're doing. We run right now it's a 10 SBD guaranteed no limit hold'em poker tournament every Thursday at, it's 11 a.m. my time, Pacific Standard.
I wanted to ask you, since you're kind of a bit of an expert in the nonprofit space, have you considered the potential of like outside grants or things like that outside of Steemit?
Absolutely. We're so tiny and new. It just isn't plausible just yet. We need to become an actual business. We need to file for nonprofit status. Like there's the paperwork involved is pretty mighty, and we're just really getting started. So we haven't gotten there yet, but absolutely. Once honestly, what the plan is to build the community casino to such a point where we are accepting grant applications from our community members, from school districts that are in the area, from homeless shelters. Like there's a definite plan, and we would be funding it. That's the idea. Right now we need help getting started because, like I said, we're just not making enough. We are growing exponentially, which is awesome. For instance, Nick's Hold'em game started around 15 players and is up to 30 this week, I think. So it's getting bigger and better. But it's still, you know how you guys will know way better than I do how the SBD versus Steam Power situation breaks down. But we're just not making enough yet to fund all of the games and help that we want to.
I see. That's kind of how I see it. So I'm kind of curious. Are you saying that you kind of have to build something up to show people before you can start asking for outside funding?
I feel like we have to build something up in order to pay for things like a business license is really my point. You have to have something to ask for something. You know what I mean? And in the nonprofit world, it's very specific. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, do you have somewhere where you've written a list of those things out and the costs?
I bet Nick does, but he's not able to be here today. He's the business guy.
That's fine. No, I was just going to say, because I would love to see, and I think that others would probably love to see it too. And if we can kind of see that goal and see what will happen with it, then it's a lot easier for us to make the sell to people, and you can post stuff about it and upvote yourself, and people who like it and see that it got upvoted, then they're going to start upvoting it too, So that's generally what I hear people using our tokens for, the BeyondBits for. Because if it's good content, it helps it get noticed. It's like a promotion token. So it pays you a guaranteed amount based on the market cap of Steam, but it also opens up the potential for you to get noticed by other people within there.
That's amazing. Where do I put this?
I would just say if you could get all that and then maybe write it out into a post and share it. Share it in an RSVP to here and, give updates on that post. These are the types of things that I would love to see people doing, because then we're kind of logging it into the archives, and we're kind of showing people, like, these are now things that you guys can show people. Hey, I would like a grant, and we actually get listened to on a SoundCloud that gets 2,500 views a week, and we've got, we're on YouTube talking about this stuff with hundreds of listens from different people in the crypto space. So we're starting to, like, you can show what you've done, and you can also show, like, the written out information to people saying, this is what we need. And then you can kind of, like, break it down into milestones and even make milestone posts potentially where you make extra money on it, just to show people that you've reached these different milestones based on what you've gotten, leverage your expertise, essentially.
I see what you're saying. Okay. I would definitely do that. That's a great idea. Thank you.
It's like the value of you, because you're you're an expert in this space, like, this is something that you could teach people at the same time, and like how you're doing it, and then there's a lot of value that can come from that in addition to the upvotes.
Absolutely. We're definitely all about helping everybody. So if you think that would be helpful to somebody, that's amazing. So I just make a post about it and then update that. I think that's great. I've been wondering what to do. You know what I mean?
Well, people see it as like it's supposed to be a blogging platform, but I also tell people that it's great as a proof of work type of platform. It doesn't always have to be the prettiest, but if you can show people, hey, X, Y, and Z, this is what this is how you can do things, and this is what I'm doing with what I'm earning to bring value to the ecosystem, you can actually show that in an archive. There's nothing more valuable than that.
That's right. Okay.
I'll say this, there's a project that I work with and that I helped launch that, I was connected with when it was launched, and that was Peer Plays. They actually launched in these Hangouts, and the BeyondBitcoin Hangouts. So they are offering something very similar, and they're at a market cap right now. They're still very early in their stages, but they're going to be opening up all that stuff. So there's even the potential for that. And they share dropped on BitShares holders too. So they gave initial tokens to people who held BitShares. So I would say BitShares has thought about it, but I think that you're going to see BitShares take a path more the direction of, like remittance and real world type of like markets. And you might see UIAs used for businesses and things like that, and maybe even stock. It's a graphene-based chain that is built with the connection into gaming in mind. So they actually have like a rock, paper, scissors game that you can do right now. And you can actually like bet. And you can actually also work with the community to get your token listed on Peer Plays, so you can actually have people betting and using that token. I always look at it like this. Each chain is a tool of its own, right? People are always complaining about cryptocurrency being, I can't get my project noticed, or I can't get the funding and X, Y, and Z, right? But and I've made this mistake to a large degree myself. There are many chains out there, and we can make money with all of them. And potentially, where you might not be able to get a witness here on Steem, you might be able to get a witness on Peer Plays, because you're already basically showing that that's what you're doing, is what they want people to do. And you could kind of say, we already have this built, we're bringing it to Peer Plays, we would like a witness, and now you get a witness and it's actually paying you in tokens that are in another network, but you don't have to hurt Steem or leave Steem. You actually use Steem as well, right? I'm just trying to come up with ideas to try to help with the funding thing, because I do think that once we get it to the point where you're saying you need to do X, Y, and Z, and that costs money, and you don't want to put out your own money for something that you're already busting your butt on and not making a whole lot of money on, and you want to also kind of gauge the community effort, the community interest. I'm just saying maybe we can leverage more than one chain and more than one community.
Also, hopefully, the tools on Peer Plays, they have a fund to pay the workers to do applications based on Peer Plays. Hopefully, they roll that functionality out soon, so you would be able to apply to get paid for what you are doing already. And the best thing about it is, as a fellow graphene chain, peer plays is really easy to integrate with whatever you have going on Steem. So it's just all about, interfacing your web application or whatever you have with yet another graphene-based chain, and the difference between them are not, all that great. And a lot of tools that you use when you interface with Steem are similar. They have similar libraries, they have similar methods and stuff like that. So
exactly, there's a lot of connections to the graphene code base. So Beth, if people want to work with you on this in any way, shape, or form, how do they reach out to you?
I just put our community casino link in the chat right there. That's the best place. I'm at Bethalea on Discord. I'm there all the time too. So there, and hopefully somebody will play our game. They're fun.
Well, thank you for joining up, Beth, and thank you everybody who joined this hangout. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give the guest list. The magic word is smoke.
Again, you really love Smoke Network. They are awesome though. They are incredible.
Or maybe he just likes getting high.
Well, they are actually, I'm talking to them about a lot of things behind the scenes because, well, we're starting to realize, there can be many networks, right? And that way, somebody like Beth, somebody like Chief, somebody like Pepper, all of them could have their own communities and their own chains, and they can kind of exist in the free market. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining up this week. All jokes aside, we kind of like to have a little bit of fun, but join us every Saturday. I think we're going to move this back about 30 minutes next week. So starting at 3:30 p.m. UTC, and we'll see you then. And let's go ahead and start with the after party.
You've been listening to the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank. As a reminder, be sure to follow the Beyond Bitcoin tag on Steemit, as well as our Hangout host Official Fuzzy for the latest Whaletank updates. From all of us here at the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank, we want to thank you for being a part of the discussion.